this long. This is for you. Yeah, things aren't the same without you right here. For you we stay strong, we fight through these tears. I promise JMF your death's not in vain. Cause of you and many others we can do the change.
We're getting ready. We have Erin. Hello. Say hi, Kiki. Hi. Here we go. Legend's sleeping. Sleeping baby.
You, buddy? Yes. We're sharing a mic. We get no headphones.
Yeah, pull this like. It's well, yeah, it'll be good. Did you? Okay, there we go.
Yo. Okay.
We have 1 minute. If you guys are watching, you can listen online so you can hear both. If you're not listening to 106.3 FM, you can go to www.rochesterfreeradio.com/listen. 30 seconds. We have Ryan and Erin in the house. 20 seconds. Oh, you can be the phone person. So if you want, go back and forth between both rooms.
Are you okay with that? Mm-hmm. So you're going to record everyone talking.
She's amazing.
So whoever is talking, if they're in there
7 seconds.
You're going to want to record them. You're going to start in here.
Okay. What's going on, Rochester? Be the Change Radio. Neffy.
Donnie. Chris.
Ryan.
Erin.
Brian.
Karina.
We got a full house today.
Full house.
It's exciting. And we're so excited because we have Ryan and Erin here. They have started this amazing thing in Canandaigua, and they're here to talk about that and how they got into it.
Yeah,
we're ready.
All right. We're from Ontario County. We are part of what's called the Community Sports Center. It's under the Partnership for Ontario County. Basically, what we're starting up is free one-on-one counseling, a journey through loss group, and then wellness, also free, which includes Canandaigua CrossFit, yoga. Sometimes we do classes at the Y. As summer comes up, hikes, swimming, basically getting the community involved in physical fitness that intertwined with recovery.
So you guys are like rock recovery.
We're super, super inspired by rock recovery, but not exactly like them. We're recovery-based, meaning we're for anybody who has like healing to do, right? So we have a lot of interface between people who are recovering from addictions, people who have lost people to addictions, and people who have just experienced loss on a different scale, right? The loss of a relationship, a divorce, anything like that.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's done really well so far. It's really in its infancy right now, but growing very quickly. The amount of people that have joined. I think in the past 4 months, I think we've got like at least 100 people that have joined up with all the groups,
That is
which is
awesome.
great. We just recently got a grant from Wegmans, so we're pretty pumped about that.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it's catching on in our community, which is great, and we're just firm believers in getting everybody involved, especially for me, the wellness part. I feel it's just really imperative for people, not only in recovery, but just people in general that are struggling with things in their life. I know it's helped me personally.
Yeah.
So.
Now, how did you start on this journey? Like, what motivated you to want to start this?
How did we even find out about the Community Support Center? It's actually, it's something that this woman named Renee Campbell, she got hired because they got a grant to do free counseling. And it started out in high schools through support centers there. And they had all these little hubs. And then Renee started seeing that there was a need in the community, right? And especially around grief and loss associated with addiction. And so they eventually got like a little hub. It's in the Thompson Co-op building, which is right on Main Street in Canandaigua. It's actually 120 North Main Street. And she offers free counseling there. And she's a licensed social worker. So it kind of started out there. And everything that she does is really strength-based and solution-focused because we're all trying to, kind of live in the solution, not the problem, right? Like, I know tons about the problem. Like,
Right.
You guys can relate to that?
Yeah,
Oh my
for
gosh,
sure.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
lot of-
It was like,
A lot of people can get stuck in the problem and not live in the solution. I think that's key for me in recovery this time is just finding the solution and living in it and practicing it daily because it is different for all of us. It's a hard thing to do because it's so different and like I'm so used to just being in that comfortable vicious cycle and then to become into a healthy cycle of stuff, it's like so different and uncomfortable for me. But really, like, one of the things I say to people that are fresh in recovery or struggling, I say, like, if I'm not uncomfortable at least once a day, I'm not changing. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
oh my God, talk about being uncomfortable. So we do this Canandaigua CrossFit thing, right?
Yeah.
Every Saturday at 10:30. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm like 9 months pregnant
Yeah.
tomorrow. Okay.
Nice.
So it's me and my pregnant ass doing CrossFit every Saturday, right? And a lot of modifications are happening. But you said some things that were just like so beautiful. You said like it's different for everybody,
Yeah.
right? And so like, how do we honor that? But we do that together. Like, how do we have different experiences and do it together? And it's something we do daily, and it's something we're practicing. It's not something we're perfect at, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
And to watch Erin modify jumping jacks in the beginning of CrossFit, it's worth it just to come down
Very
and see this.
jazzercise.
It's pretty awesome.
You gotta put that on YouTube.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Now, are you both in recovery?
Yes.
absolutely.
Chicken fondue.
Yeah, I'm a little over 2 years sober.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank
so
you very
cool.
much. That's basically with me. Once about this time last year, actually, I was just a little over 1 year sober, and though I was sober, I was I was struggling. It was wintertime. I had made a mess of things, and just kind of living in that. And was just depressed. And then at that point, I decided I'm a swimmer in high school, so I decided to start swimming with the Masters swim team right in Canandaigua, and working out again. I don't know what inspired me to do it. I just did. And immediately, my happiness, especially my confidence, just it turned around and blossomed. And it was something I found for myself that was just so amazing that was a much needed part of my recovery. I really didn't think about it as, oh my gosh, this is something that everybody could be doing. And that's, it took a while, but that's when I found out about the Community Sports Center and realized that there's just a whole community of us out there that have found this to be such a key part of making a better life for themselves.
That's awesome. Now, is there membership fees here at?
So one of the things that's so important to us is that we offer all of our services for free, and we want to empower people to participate really in a high level. So it's basically like incorporating everybody into a network of people that are kind of doing good and learning how to be healthier and practice that day-to-day aspect of whatever you're recovering from.
I think that's the thing with, if you think about a Y membership or a membership to any of these places, it's not inexpensive. It just isn't. To own the equipment at your home is even more expensive.
Right.
So there's a whole community of us. I know personally, I would struggle with having a membership to all these places. So to be able to offer this to people that absolutely need it, that otherwise just wouldn't have access to it.
Right. And having other people to do it with. That's always been hard
huge.
for me. I don't want to do it by myself.
Huge.
So
Accountability buddies are so big for me, and
Battle buddies.
I don't mean to blow you out here, but
No, it's
I get the privilege of picking up Ryan from time to time, and it makes sure like it holds me accountable because I might not go if I don't have to pick anybody up along the way because I'm like tired and want to put my feet up and stuff.
Yes, my inability to get myself anywhere has really helped out a lot of people. with their well-being, so.
I wasn't gonna say it like that.
No,
Like,
it's all right. It's all right. No, I work with all these, so. It's really great. One important thing that I definitely want to put in. So obviously, we're looking for grants. We're going to be writing some grants to obviously help out with funding. We'd like to see ourselves get a building at some point, hopefully in the near future. But we're obviously looking for ways to raise money so we can continue growing and offering this to everybody. So we decided to come up with the idea for a 5K, which is, obviously a lot of places do that. But we just turned in the permit for it with the city of Canandaigua and are looking to be doing that on August 4th. Right down by the lake, which is going to be great.
And Ryan's really excited, and I'm really scared. so we have this really diverse, spectrum of feelings for sure. And we also have some other highlights. We actually have 4 of us that are affiliated with the Community Support Center that are in the middle of a certified peer recovery advocate class with Lori Drescher down at what's that amazing building called?
The art.
What is it called? It's down
Artisan.
in Winton.
Artisan building. Right?
Yes.
The Artisan building.
Yeah.
It's huge, beautiful. It's filled with amazing artwork. But yeah, so we've been learning a lot that way too.
That is really
I'm getting
cool.
ready to start my peer recovery coach and advocacy classes also. So
Yeah,
Are you
highly
taking it with
recommend.
Lori?
I'm gonna be signing up with Lori. Yeah, I'm just waiting on the funding grant from Access VR. So
Very
it's super
nice.
fun.
yeah,
Super fun.
And there's bagels.
and there's
that's
bags.
always-
I'm in.
Right? Free food.
No,
There's free food. We're there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to be learned there, and that's actually a very important certification to have coming up. A lot more funding is going to be coming into New York State. I know a lot of these recovery places like Flacker and that are going to be doubling in size, and they're going to be looking for peer coaches, recovery coaches. So anybody who's interested in that, I highly recommend looking into that.
Yeah, I've been
Right.
letting people in recovery know. I think it's great too because for me the most helpful thing is another recovering addict.
Absolutely.
Someone coming out of a book can help me and tell me the right things, and they're knowledgeable. Like a brain surgeon hasn't had brain surgery, and he's still capable of doing brain surgery. You know what I mean? So I used to hold grudges against counselors that weren't in recovery or wouldn't tell me if they were or not. But I don't anymore. But the ultimate weapon for a recovering addict is a recovering addict. I totally believe that. So
Absolutely.
I think the movement of peer advocacy and peer recovery coaches is going to be awesome.
Yeah, you want to see what works, and when you have a recovering addict who's had more clean time than you, and you see they found recovery, it's just motivating, and it
Absolutely.
shows that there's hope. And
Hope.
Well, one of the things that I think is so magical is just that interaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the Community Support Center, because it's not just for people in recovery, we have this opportunity to, we have a couple people who have lost their children to heroin
Yep.
overdoses, and then we have some people who are struggling with heroin addiction, right? And
Yeah.
so the interface between those two, just to watch it, is so magical.
I bet.
And this idea that we're better together, we're stronger together, we're more resilient together, we can learn so much from each other. And who's going to be an ally, right? How are we going to partner ourselves? Because this epidemic, just with addiction in general, a lot of things had to be screwed up, right? It wasn't just it's not just an individual thing. There's social structures, there's community shareholders that we've made giant mistakes to get where we are, and
Yeah.
it's going to take a lot
lot.
of cooperation to get back to where we need to be, and
Yep.
get back to health, right?
Yeah, this isn't going away overnight. It's not.
No.
We didn't get to this point overnight. We're not getting out of it overnight. And it's.
Exactly.
You're right. There's so much with the stigma kind of being started. You could see it starting to crumble, and parents who didn't want to talk to anybody when their child was an addict or.
What an
You know,
isolating place to be. too.
Exactly,
That must
and
be horrible.
now they're going out and they're seeing other parents and recovering addicts and things like that, and it's they're no longer ashamed, and it's nice to see them out there and like I said, the stigma being broken is the start of this, fighting this epidemic, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And it takes groups, like Rudy was talking about today, the green.
Whoa.
What is that? Something's flashing in front of me. I'm like, what is
It's
that?
new for us.
We have a caller.
Yeah, I'm not answering that.
We don't
She
take
just
calls
doesn't
on
know.
the
She
show.
doesn't know how.
Go ahead,
It's like
caller.
a
I'm
Yeah.
landline. I don't know how that works.
Right. How do landlines even work?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's a landline?
I love it.
But it takes all of us uniting together to be able to do this, and it's so awesome. It's about teamwork. It's about
It wouldn't
giving
be
each other
possible.
hope.
It wouldn't be possible without teamwork.
Absolutely. I think just seeing in Monroe and Ontario County, the aftercare, the programs that are starting to pop up, I think people are really seeing the need for more to be offered to everybody in recovery. I think it's just such a key part. It's great, we have the inpatients, the outpatients,
Yep.
the 12-step meetings, and they're all absolutely key in the recovery process, but there's more to it.
There's so much more after
There's
that.
more to
Yeah.
it. There's a confidence that needs to be rebuilt. There's to be proud of yourself, to be strong, and I think we're catching on to these areas where we can actually help everyone do that.
Yeah, there's so many fronts to this fight. I mean, the education to the younger generation, not
Absolutely.
to get started in this. And, we have like you said, the inpatient. We have the, all that stuff. And then we have the aftercare, like you said. I mean, physical fitness is something that, I know personally it comes hand in hand with recovery because,
Absolutely.
it just gives you more confidence. It gives you almost a healthy addiction, because
Absolutely.
I know before I fell into addiction, I was totally addicted to the gym. And it's like once I hit addiction, it was like, gym?
You
No way.
know.
No, right?
No. Not you, Bri.
No, not me.
Yep.
But yeah, and once you get in there, it takes a lot to get someone involved into a program like that. But once they're in there and they see that, hey, this is great. I don't feel out of place. I don't
Yep.
feel overwhelmed. It's healthy. It's making me feel better. My endorphins are being released, and they continue with it, and you can just see the changes, and they can see the changes. And
To look at the faces on somebody their first time after doing something like CrossFit, a program that they looked at years before and said, that is something I'll never, ever be able to do. And there they are. They just, spend an hour doing that. You just can see it in their face.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
lit up. They're empowered. They're excited. They're ready to go out and tackle the world.
yep.
It's
They
awesome,
feel
man.
really differently about it the next
Yeah.
day, though.
And then 4 days later, when they show up, when they're not sore anymore.
but no, seriously, one of the things that we're focusing on is, at least I've been thinking about for a while, is how do I change the way that I feel about myself, right? And I think,
Amen, sister.
yeah, it's something that I struggle with. The community support center really has helped me with that, right? So like Renee does this personalized counseling. It's all strength based. It's really it's empowering, and then this journey through loss. How do we get through the things that we've lost and the grief that we have, and then also the Canandaigua Strong component, this fitness component. Because I tell you, once I get done with like a CrossFit workout, I have this confidence. Like I'm like, man, I just did that.
Right.
And maybe I didn't do it as fast as somebody else, or my weights weren't as big as somebody else's, but I did it. And then when I go out into the world, when I'm doing a little task that seems arduous, that seems difficult, that is something that I couldn't have done in my usage, I take that confidence with me, and I'm like, well, I
Yes.
did CrossFit, and I've processed some of this grief, and I have told people
Oh,
about
yeah.
the things that I've done. So it's a really interesting process.
And like I was telling Ryan, a lot of the people who get out of inpatient and are recovering, they don't have jobs. And boredom is really the enemy to a recovering addict.
Amen.
I mean, it is. You sit there and nothing to do, and a lot of them don't have healthy home structures, and maybe they're not in a halfway house. They're sitting, at home, and their parents are gone, and this and that. But if you give them something to do, whether it's physical activity or just getting out into some kind of structured environment,
Absolutely.
it helps so much. And physical fitness is something that they can build their confidence on and kind of go from there.
And connect
Absolutely.
with people. I feel like that's an
Exactly.
important part as well because, when we first get clean, we have no idea who we are, what we like. what kind of people we should be around. So I think that it goes hand in hand, because not only are you finding something new that,
Yep.
just as you were saying, oh, I would never do that. And then you're like, oh, you meet somebody that's like, hey, why don't you just come with me and, check this out.
Oh, and more than that, like, why don't you come with us? We'll come and pick you up.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well,
Now you
okay.
have no excuse.
All right, I guess I'll give it a try,
I have an extra
maybe.
pair of sneakers, like.
Well, that's how it all started with me, to be honest with you. I got a text message from Erin in December. I think I was sitting in a chair watching Netflix, miserable. It was cold out, and I had nowhere to go. And she asked me if I wanted to go to a boxing class, which I had to do a double take. A boxing class, like what is she talking about? I'm like, I guess so. Okay, I'll go. She picked me up at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and sure as anything, I was off in the middle of
In the middle of nowhere,
in the
like
middle of
in
nowhere.
Bristol,
Yeah.
in a greenhouse.
In a greenhouse.
Taking this hardcore like boxing
That's
class.
awesome.
It was awesome.
Did you feel like
MMA
Rocky?
Oh, are you kidding me? I went out of there. I was like, I think I'm going to go to Vegas, get into some fights. I'm sticking.
Were you punching
Let's
wrong
do
and
it.
stuff?
Yeah.
Like Rocky?
Well, they were
carrying logs.
You want to fight?
Great.
You want to fight?
Really great.
Well, we had the staircase in Albany. I mean,
I should have done it.
You should have done it.
Oh man! But that's all it was her reaching out to me and just taking a chance and saying yeah and now look I've been a part of everything ever since. So and I think that's just key is to be as a community reaching out to others that aren't
Yeah.
just come on and try this out once.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yes.
What do you got to lose, right?
Yeah.
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 Speaking
That happened with that lady.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
She drugged me out once, and now I'm
No, he's stuck.
stuck for
Everyone
life.
is.
I enjoy the crap out of it.
I
though.
like it.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ned.
Speaking of reaching out, we just had Cal, who lives in Canandaigua, call in and ask. His son lives in Pennsylvania, and he said, "What can he do from here to help his son?" And his son's, in Pennsylvania, another state away.
And is he recovering or in active addiction?
He's in active addiction.
That's really a hard one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
And I have to
I don't
say
think I have the
that's
qualifications.
Probably outside of our lane, you know what I mean? Once people are here, we can get them involved and stuff like that. But helping a loved one who's states away through
In
their
active
addiction,
It's-
that's a hard thing to do.
I mean, I can say that, like, I'd be willing to talk to his son, and if his son is truly willing to stop, I am 100% here to do outreach as far as over the phone goes and support him any way I can. But I need to know if he's actually willing to stop.
that's the big thing right there.
And I mean, even if he's not, like, I can talk to him and let him know recovery is possible and give him some hope and let him know I was probably in the shoes he's in 6
Right.
months ago. But that's all I can do. I can offer a phone call or a text message, and I'm totally willing to do so.
Right. And I think, enabling can be a huge part. We worry so much about people even who live close to us. And sometimes without realizing it, we can enable them by sending money or, gift cards or anything like that. So there's ways of showing people that we love them and we care and we're here for you without enabling
Yes.
as well, because you don't want the last $30 or $40 you send someone to, sign their death warrant.
Man, I worry about that all the time. Like when I buy like things off of Craigslist, like people like pieces of furniture, I'm like, oh my gosh, are these people going to take this money and go overdose?
Right.
And I should not think about that. That's pretty obsessive. But as far as Kel goes too, I have a phone number here for him if he's still listening.
Perfect.
And he can actually call the Community Support Center. It's a cell phone, so you can call or text. It's Renee Campbell's information. And maybe we can get you involved because there's work that you can do here. So it's 585-481-7277. One more time, that's 585-481-7277. And we're also on Facebook at the Community Support Center. And you can message us on there, and we can kind of talk to you a little bit more about that and what you can do for your son and what you can do for yourself, too, because this is your journey as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love this.
Me too.
I just love, networking and giving people a lifeline is such a huge part of recovery, not just for addicts, but for their family members.
Absolutely.
You know, they go through the same chaos that we go through, and we drag them through it. They don't even have a choice on being a part of it for
Absolutely.
a lot of the time.
It's pretty powerful stuff. The Journey Through Loss group that's held every Wednesday night, because you have both. You have people in recovery, and you also have parents and family members that have either lost a family member to it or are in the middle of it. So there's just usually these groups are kind of separated, whereas there's a whole group of us together, and it's great. Questions can be sometimes answered, but support can be given, and no matter which area you were in and getting affected by it. So
We can kind of honor the complexities of being human, right? Because like this is not easy.
Right.
So that's something I really enjoy.
Well, what more of a resource could you ask for all in one spot, you know?
absolutely.
Right. Especially, I think that's so cool that there's going to be counseling right there.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
so cool.
And there's one part that I absolutely forgot to mention. So we just recently sat down, and so it's in the works. And it's with the literacy volunteers, which is located on South Main Street in Canandaigua.
208 South Main Street.
Yeah. So what we're hoping to add in is a way to help people out with obviously insurance. If they're looking for their GED, if they're looking for paperwork on how to fill out for stuff with DSS and that, we're looking to be able to offer all those services again for free.
Wow.
So we're adding another piece to it. Obviously, that stuff people can be slip through the cracks. Dealing with your county when it comes to filling out the paperwork can be troublesome, especially when
They just don't know where to start.
when you're in the beginning of sobriety. So this is a place where you can go with people that are trained, that understand, and just sit down and help everyone. If it's
Awesome.
starting with your education, if it's anything in that capacity. So hopefully we're going to be adding a whole nother piece to
That's an
to it.
awesome
Awesome.
resource to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really
for sure.
is.
I love that.
I know me
So
going
cool.
to DSS to fill out like an application when I would first get out of
forget
inpatient and
about
pass the temps and everything, that would be like a huge stressor. Like I'd be
It
in
is.
there, I always see someone I either bought drugs from or I use drugs with, you know what I mean? Especially in Monroe County, it's like huge,
Yeah.
tons of people. Oh, I'd freak out every time.
It's
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's not easy. It's just not easy. It's just another thing where you're in a difficult spot in your life. But it's a necessary thing that just needs to be done. It's
Yes.
a piece of the puzzle you're putting back together. And to be sitting there alone in a place like that can be. I know for me it was really difficult. It
Yeah.
was really tough to be in there filling out all that paperwork.
I couldn't tie my shoes when I first got
Yeah.
sober. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
really scary.
Oh yeah, and so here's a place where you can just come in and just be able to take care of all of that stuff, and it's just another service to help you.
And you're
start
looking
life
for
again.
your own a different building or your own building right now.
That's the thing. Through the Literacy Center, there's some grant writers there. So obviously some of those things are pretty
Yeah,
tedious.
it's huge.
So we're looking into. We know New York State has the money for this, and we're looking to hopefully write some grants to help us out.
And are you a nonprofit?
We are all
You are-
nonprofit.
okay,
yep.
so-
Yep. So hopefully at some point in the next year we have our own building, so we can kind of centralize everything. One-stop shop. Go there for your fitness, for your groups, for your one-on-one counseling. If you need DSS paper filled out, if you want to start your
Wow,
high
yeah.
school
This is
diploma or getting into
amazing.
college,
Shoot pool.
If you want to shoot pool,
Play darts?
we have a game night, board game night.
That's
yeah,
actually
arts.
coming up on the 23rd of March,
Yep.
and it is at 208 South Main Street. And it's kind of a nice icebreaker, too. You know what I mean? You're coming to meet us, and
Yeah.
there'll be snacks. There's always snacks.
Always.
They'll by about 2 hours in, there'll be a Monopoly board like wedged into the wall where somebody threw it.
Yeah.
So, no.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome,
I mean,
man.
that really is. It seems like you guys really are. You have a serious vision and you're going at it.
Absolutely.
And that's great.
Absolutely, we're just absolutely excited about everything. It just every single day it's growing more and more opportunities. It's been really exciting. It really has.
And a lot of work for you guys, I'm sure too. Which is
It is.
we appreciate
we love
because
Yeah.
without people like you, there wouldn't be places like that. So
Well, I think
Right.
I think I can speak for everybody in this room right here that we're passionate about this.
Oh, yeah.
This is a life or death situation that we all need to be a part of, and that's what it's not work. It's a passion, and I love every minute of it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's just I love it too. We live and breathe this every day, and we have to put just as much work into our own recovery to be able to keep it.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge part for me is, giving away my services, and helping others.
It's what we do.
Right.
It's just become.
The student becomes the teacher.
Yeah.
And that's that's just the way it is, and we continue to have to keep doing it that way.
Well, and through this process, we're learning so much about, at least for me, I'm learning so much about myself. What skills do I have that I can offer other people? And as it turns out, I'm really good at paperwork, which I hate. I hate that. But this is something that I end up helping people with.
There needs to be more of you.
She's going to be filing my taxes next year.
I think she just found out about that.
And she did? Good at paperwork? A check mark, all right.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about cleanup today and a few topics. There's a lot of new drugs coming out to fix the drug problem, and I want to hear what everyone's thought on that is. So we will be discussing that in a minute. Keep listening to Be the Change, Addiction Awareness and Support on 106.3 FM.
Be the change, Rochester.
RochesterFreeRadio.com.
I was waiting for you to do that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, 2.96. It sounds like 3 months to me.
Who's this team? Kaylin, stopped it?
Braxton.
Okay.
Yeah, there he is. There's my little man. Legend. Bud. Hey, bud.
What's up, dude?
You're going to have to get a picture of us both on the page.
Hey, buddy.
I want to see the baby.
Say hi! Say hi, everybody. I'm here. Here you go, babe.
How do you feel about other people holding you?
Yeah, here, take her.
She's like, take him. Runs away.
I have crazy maternal instincts right now. I was holding a baby's puppy and I had I want to nurse the puppy. This is not normal. This is my third collectively.
Are you being such a good boy?
Are you having a boy or a girl? Boy. Big boy. This one.
Boys are so good. Bella with my little pony hair.
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old daughter who's going through puberty. How old are you?
11.
You're 11 age. When's your birthday?
April 5th.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. Play date. Do you play
No.
with boys?
Huh?
Do you like boys?
We don't think.
My son is not your average boy. He's cool.
He's mine.
Down in Canada as well. So I don't know if you'd be interested.
He's used to all these.
I'm stealing a bite of your crust again. Eat it.
You're 11?
This is my niece.
She's just leaving it on the carpet?
Is he falling apart?
How old is he?
10 months.
14. He just hasn't grown. Well, fine.
Isn't he? He's the love of my life.
Yeah, hello. Hi.
Say hi to everyone. Say hi. Wait.
Hi. Hi.
We now officially.
Peekaboo.
Yeah, just
We have 1 minute.
this phone. I dropped it and for some
Did we connect to my phone too? Okay. I don't know how to do that.
Hold on. Do you want a chair?
But I want a picture of it.
Sure.
There he is a pretty good card.
Like she's been doing it for a while.
She takes lots of pictures.
30 seconds.
How long?
Hold on, I'm waiting, KK. It's like ad.
You want to mention that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Can you take a picture?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's not letting me add myself. What? Hold that. I can only do so much at one time. Oh, crap. 1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. I need a real one. Oh my God. Can I get a real smile though?
And we're back. And we're taking pictures. So we just
Hi, Rochester.
Hi, Rochester. Okay, so we did our cleanup and outreach today, and I was super excited about this. I went live and I did a video from one of our regular spots that we clean up on Party Street, and they tore the house down.
Yeah.
The house was
Completely
gone.
gone.
It was so cool. I got emotional.
Yeah, she did. She almost beat me up because I was mocking her. So yeah, Steph. I apologize for knocking you out.
It's okay.
It's okay.
She does it to us though. Like it's okay when she does it to us.
Yeah, I know,
and
right?
tells us we're grounded and stuff. But then she wants to. Yeah.
It happened.
She can dish it out, but she can't take it.
Yep.
I know. I'm a sore loser. Wait, no, wait. I'm a.
Hey, I just want to
What
say,
are they-
I want to say congratulations on the no cigarettes thing, because that's huge.
Yes. Yes. Dude.
Congratulations, Steph.
Thank you. Oh, well, while we're congratulating people, I want to say congratulations to Donnie because
High
today's
five, Donnie.
his 3-month sober anniversary. Woo!
Thank you, everybody.
Amazing. I love it.
3 months seems short, but it's huge for somebody that's in recovery because 3 months is very hard for somebody to even do. Sometimes it's hard for them to even do a week.
One day is a miracle, brother.
Exactly.
It's huge. It's a huge accomplishment, especially, when we're back in like the towns that we grew up in or we're using in. It's a trigger.
Yeah.
Being back around certain areas is, very hard. It took me a while to even be able to move back into Rochester.
Yeah, I was thinking about not moving back after the inpatient, but the halfway house took me in, so I went with it. And yesterday, we had the parade and stuff, and I knew there was going to be so many triggers down there for me that I actually stayed home.
That's a smart move.
That's smart.
man.
You're setting your own boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
I was scared to death. Even with clean time, I was scared to death to come back here. I was really scared. Even in Florida, when I got out of treatment, I was afraid to go back to the town that, I lived in and I got arrested in because I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle that.
But see, you got to have the strength and just push through it. I mean, it's
Boundaries.
Anywhere you go, you're going to have temptations and triggers everywhere. So you just got to be strong enough to fight the triggers and, set your boundaries, like you said.
Yeah, I agree with that totally, man. Healthy boundaries is huge. Not only like with people, but just with yourself. Like getting to, like Erin had said, getting to know ourselves is a huge part of recovery, and getting to know like who we are and what we truly do like and don't like, and like what we can and can't do, and like I don't know. I say that I don't believe in triggers, kind of, but like by that I mean that I have to make a choice in my mind to get stuck on the thought of something, because something can always put a little, like, plant a seed in my brain, but I have the option to choose to stay stuck on that or not. But like, so I totally agree with you, man, and I think that's good that you set healthy boundaries.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I'm really proud of you, dude. Like, I remember, like I said, I remember the first night I met you, man. You were not having it. Like, you were not having it. Stuff's like, well, I think I'm going to drop you off, Chris.
Oh, that was fun.
Got mad love for you, Donnie, for real.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
Got mad love for you, too. We're all family, so that's what we do. We stick together.
We are family. Yes. Dude, I love when you break out in song.
I can't help it. It's in my blood.
It's amazing.
It's in my blood.
I can turn anything into a song. I'm not sure if that's a gift or.
Oh, that's a gift.
Anyway,
Curse.
Steph,
Yes.
you said we had some topics to talk
Yes.
about.
Okay. So that was one of the houses that was taken care of off the list. Also, we went to another one of our regular spots on Remington and Burbank. They changed the locks. Nobody's getting in that house anymore, which is awesome.
Locked down.
And then the greenhouse, another house on Remington that we go to, there's new windows put in it.
Good.
They're cleaning it up. So these are 3 active houses that have been used for shooting galleries, crash pads, and they're not anymore. That's
Amazing.
huge.
Rochester's waking up now.
I think that's going to be like part of what helps Rochester get this thing together and get our wraps on this thing, because there's so many places for us when we're out there using to go and like be undercover for, say, to use, you know what I mean?
Right,
And if we
right.
get rid of like those abandoned properties and like it's just going to be empty lots. And I know for me, like, yes, I've done it when I was real sick. I've just done it right out in the open, but most of the time we try to like go behind somewhere or something like that. And if there's like neighbors that are aware of what's going on and they're coming out and saying, hey, what are you doing over there? And then like you got these houses being knocked down or whatever, being fixed up, and they can no longer be utilized, like, we're not ever going to run out of places to use at. Like, people are always going to find a way to use, but it's going to make it a lot harder. You know what I mean? And plus, so many people get into recovery, I think it's just going to, it becomes contagious, man. I think it's all just starting to come together. And I know it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, like Brian had said earlier. But I think all these things together, man, are just going to combat it as a whole.
I totally agree. And so that leads us to 10 Sullivan Street, where we always start off at. We picked up how many needles just there?
56.
So 56 needles in about, I would say we spent about an hour there.
Yeah.
And then throughout the rest of the course of the day, we went to a shed that actually Justin and I used to use on Knox Alley. What?
I was wondering if you were talking about the shed on Wilkins.
Oh, no. We haven't gone there yet.
You went to the Old Faithful on Knox Alley? The one me
Yes.
and Bobby and Brandon stayed in?
And we pulled
3 people in there?
so many needles out of there. I think by the end of the day, we collected. Donnie and I were just trying to figure it out. We would have to ask Kathy, but anywhere from 150 to 200 needles.
Wow.
For just
220.
And that's with all the
okay.
snow too. I mean, when the weather breaks, it's going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, on Sullivan Street, we were there, when we first got there, there was just needles in the snow. Like, everywhere I walked, there was a needle there. Needle here, needle there.
They were joking around about making snow
Snow-
angels, but in all seriousness, if a child went to make a snow angel in that field,
Yeah.
they could have gotten poked.
Not to mention the one you found that was full, Stephanie.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, imagine a child finds that. I mean, that's insane.
Right. It was literally full. There was at least 60 milligrams of blood and drugs in a needle that we found today. Milliliters. What'd I say? Milligrams?
Yeah.
Units.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So and it's sad, and
It sucks,
we're just gonna
actually.
keep coming out. We're gonna keep coming out and fighting this.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear the count went up. I know last week it was real tough because we had so much snow and it was just frozen solid, and our count wasn't as much as it had been in the past and was this week. But we still were able to collect some, So
Right.
I mean, no matter what, if we pick up 10 needles on a Sunday, we're
Yeah,
making some
you're doing
kind of a
something.
difference. Yeah, and
Right.
Saving someone's life, some little
exactly.
kid.
And people see us out there, and I
All
feel
right,
like
guys,
you're
we have
sending a message
like-
subconsciously to people that may still be using and thinking about treatment. If they see our group out there every Sunday, week after week, they're like, "Damn, something is working."
Oh, yes.
Right, and-
We had a guy today come up to Stephanie and say, we gave him a lunch, and he was like, when I get my teeth fixed, I really want to find treatment. Steph, do you have a card? And she gave him a card, and he was more, I mean, will it happen? I don't know. But the point is, he recognized us, he recognized Stephanie, he recognized the group, and he asked for a card. He asked for help. So
Right. And then when I gave it to him, he's like, "Oh, I have one of these," and I was like, "Yes, yes, use it, use
You
it."
must have got a lunch
Right.
before.
And
Got a lunch?
one of the things is we can't. We know, because we're in recovery, that we can't make someone get help. We can offer them hope and helping hand and lunch and clothing. We can do anything, but they have to be ready. They have to,
they have to want it.
right. And I don't know. We'll, like I said, we'll just keep going out. And I know when I was out in the streets, I didn't see anyone doing what we were doing.
No, I'm sure
like
there
we
wasn't.
do it.
I'll tell you what, the summertime, that is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're just going to be like 400 just at one spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go out, in our speedos and
I got
really show 'em.
I got a sweet halter top skirt today at 8:21. You guys are not.
show them that there's
ready.
hope.
He said a halter top skirt.
I don't even know what it's called.
It
but
was a dress.
I
It
knew
had
you
no,
swung
it
that
had
way.
no strap, so it resembled a halter on the top, and it was a skirt on the bottom. So it's a halter top skirt to me.
Wearing yoga pants and a sports bra.
Who
Sounds good to
does
me.
that though?
People that know how to have fun. That's who.
Jesus save me.
Eating
Okay.
great tonight, Chris.
One more topic I wanted to touch on before.
We have a call.
Yes, we do have a call, which Karina's going to answer. But so the FDA has approved the first monthly injectable form of buprenorphine.
Yes, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. Yep.
Right. So now it's here. It's out. What is everyone's thoughts about that?
Will it be used is my question, because what I just feel a lot of people utilizing Suboxone aren't utilizing it for the correct reasons, unfortunately. And the ones that are, I feel like will adapt to will want this, especially the ones that want to get off the Suboxone in the long term, because I think it's going to be a lot easier for these patients to taper down off a once monthly shot. The doctor can put just a tad less each month, in it.
It's like picking up a new habit.
The patient will not even feel it, feel the withdrawal from it, because slowly you'll be tapered down once a month shot until you're off. Instead of saying you need to take this much, here's your Suboxone. Now is the patient really going to taper down? You know what I mean? It's like
Exactly. They're going to use
Right,
it the
and
right
it's going to
way.
be controlled, more controlled.
And there's such a high market for it being sold on Clinton or
Unfortunately.
probably other places
Everywhere,
too.
everywhere.
But that's going to help knock that out.
Are they? My question is it going to be exclusively in shot form, or are they going to have still the strips and the pills and all that? Is it?
Right.
Yeah, my question with the whole thing is, all right, first off, it's going to be helpful if the doctors that are prescribing strips to people transition all those people to the injectable shot,
But if
whatever
they start
it's called.
losing patients, are they going to do that?
But also, my other question is, okay, so there's some people that are prescribed 3 Suboxone a day, and there's some people that are prescribed 4 or 8 milligrams a day. So how many milligrams is the shot to slowly release over the month to be equivalent to the person taking 3
Well,
a
I'm
day?
sure
or
they'll
is it-
have that. I'm sure they'll have that. Comparison, or how it is exactly, what you have
Right.
to, what amount you have to put into that suspension. And ultimately, that's what it is, a suspension that's going to release over 28 to 30 days or whatever. So
Just like the Vivitrol.
just like
Yeah.
the Vivitrol. Now, the Vivitrol's, one size fits all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a little different, like Chris is saying, but it's, I guess patients might be worried about that, Chris. You're right. Like, okay, I get the shot. What if the doctor wasn't right in the same amount, same dose, and all of a sudden tomorrow, in a couple of days, I'm sick.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
doctor's really going to have to make sure he is very sure that the amount he's giving that patient is equivalent to what the patient is taking currently.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I think it just like anything in life, I think it's going to have its pros and it's going to have its cons. You know what I mean? And hopefully, it's mostly left to the doctors to make the decision of putting patients on it, rather than they're going to present the patient with the option to stay on the strips or do the injectable shot. I believe that the injectable shot is going to be very helpful, and like Brian said, it could become a taper thing and slowly wean people off of Suboxone, but most patients on Suboxone that I know, unfortunately, are still in that addicted cycle, and they want the strips because it's a money game. You know what I mean?
If this will allow them to kind of, live the real sober, clean life, because
Right.
now you're not dependent on taking something
Yeah.
every day. Although your body,
Not
yes, is
picking up
still
another
dependent on
habit.
buprenorphine, but in same sense, you're not having to take that every day. You're not having to, okay, I forgot my strip, I'm at
Right.
work, and I'm in withdrawal. You
Right.
don't have to worry about that anymore.
Exactly.
It's something off that patient's plate and that recovering addict's plate, and I think it's great, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's
any-
great if the patient accepts it, the doctor accepts it, and they move forward. Now, I'm sure the shot is just buprenorphine. There's no naloxone in it, because it wouldn't make sense if it's an
Right.
injectable shot. So,
Right.
I think any pathway to recovery is a good way to go. I just want to make that clear, because there's been some times on the radio where I may have stated an opinion, and You know, some people take it the wrong way. My opinion
You
is
say an
always
opinion?
my experience.
What?
My opinion is my experience, and my opinion. I'm not saying
What
or
worked and didn't
degrading
work for you.
anyone's recovery. Yeah, like, so if you're on Suboxone and it's working for you,
Keep
rock
doing
out.
it.
And you're doing the right thing. Yep. I mean, I heard about someone today who's been on it for 3 years, and through a nurse that I know, and he's never once tested positive for any other drug. He has used it correctly. He doesn't sell it. But he came to the doctor and said, "I want to get off this. I've been on it for 3 years." And the doctor said, "No." The doctor said, "No, I'm not going to taper you. I want you to." Exactly. But it's like, this patient was very discouraged. She said, she saw him and he was very discouraged. And I don't recommend anybody tapering off a Suboxone on their own without under medical
Yeah,
supervision.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is not our call. It's got to be under a doctor's supervision. But that doctor's also got to look out for the best interest of that patient. And if he wants to be off something, you got to work with them a little bit.
Exactly.
Right. I think once you feel like Chris, you're going to be shortly going off the Vivitrol, correct?
Yes.
You
I,
wouldn't have done that at first.
No,
until you felt ready.
For sure. I mean, again, this is my pathway to recovery. I've built a foundation in a 12-step program and fellowship with myself, and I just want to make it clear also that there's a difference between the fellowship and the program. And I'm part of both. But anyways, if I didn't have this foundation of AA under me, and a relationship with my higher power of my understanding and a relationship with myself and some great supports in my corner, I would not be getting off of it. I originally got on it because I was, in my thinking, I was still not 100%. I wanted to get out of treatment. I was trying to leave inpatient, and I got on it because I knew it would make the cravings go away, and then my urge to leave inpatient would lessen. And then once I got out, I would continue on it for, say, 4, 5, 6 months to build that foundation under me like I have. And now that I have that foundation, and I've also started some other medications that the side effects are the same. It's not any kind of maintenance medication for addiction. It's for a different health issue I have with my liver. And the side effects are the same: tiredness, fatigue, and headaches. And the Vivitrol, unfortunately, does that for me. But it has
Does it for me too.
It has been 100% a lifesaver. Before getting into the 12-step program that I work and the obsession being lifted through that, Vivitrol made it so that I did not have any cravings at all.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And I mean, I don't have the side effects from it. It really, it might be in my head for some reason. I feel like it gives me energy. It's weird, but in the same sense, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to stay on this as long as I can. If I can stay on it 18 months, I'm going to stay on it 18 months because it is what it is. But Chris is absolutely right in his thinking. You don't get off of it because you want to get off of it. You know what I mean? You get off of it because you've built the foundation where you're not going to use.
Yeah.
Where you are on the right path. You don't get off of it because if you have some ulterior motives to get off of it, then it's going to be bad. But yes, my plan is just because I don't have any side effects from it. Why not? You know what I'm saying? It's a safety net, so I'm going to stay on it.
I'm getting my third shot on the 20th.
There you go.
Good.
That's my 6 months, dog.
So anniversary for both.
And that's awesome that you're getting that shot, even with the side effects you have. That you feel like, this is more important than those small side effects.
And my life is more important right now.
Exactly.
It's life or death,
my
like we said
sobriety
earlier.
and my life is very important to me right now, and I'm just gonna keep moving forward, and my ability to keep helping other people and keep pushing, and
you're doing the right thing. You are. You're doing the right thing. You got a great. Everyone in here, has a good program, and you're very focused. I can tell, and that's great. And,
well, thank you.
And to get that shot, even with a couple side effects and everything, you thought about the realization of what is more important, my life or a rash. You know what I mean? It's and that's great, and that's great.
All right, guys, it's that time.
Oh wow!
Holy crap! It went fast, right?
Always.
It did go fast.
So much fun.
Karina has something she wants to say. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Turn me back on. Really quick, I just want to say that phone call that we received when we were in the middle of the show was from Cindy. She comes on the show after us. Her show is called A Couple of Instigators. And I really just love this. Not only is she a fan of our show and has her own show and broadcast, but she really just wanted to call and say that she thought we were amazing and that she wanted us to keep up the fight. And she
Thank
was like,
you.
I just had to call and tell you guys, I listen to you every week. I come on after you guys, and that you guys, you're just inspiring. And I just wanted to tell you guys to keep up the good fight.
That's all.
Thank you, Cindy.
So thank you, Cindy.
And keep tuning in. Check out her show next. And we're going to close out with some Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park.
We love you guys.
Love you, Rochester.
Love
Be
you,
the change.
Rochester. See
Be
you
the
next
change,
week.
Rochester. Be the change.